All right, all right. Grace, mercy, and peace from him who is and was and is to come very soon, I'm certain. This is Rogue Diabetic, and welcome to the Digital Wilderness. All right, you guys. So this is a special request. Today's video is I got a request to do a video. So the title of this video is Brownies. A friend of mine asked me to do a video about brownies. So and just so you know that's not I've never described brown people or black people or non-white people or colored folks or any, and I've never used that descriptor for for people of color. But he asked that I do. He asked me to do a video about brownies, and so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna indulge him. Okay, and this will be Brownies Part 1, and there'll be subsequent parts to it because it's kind of because there's some ground to cover, and I don't want to instead of doing one 45-minute video, I'm gonna try to do more 2 or 3 15 or 20-minute videos, or maybe even 3 or 4 or 10 or 15-minute videos. So anyway, Tucker Carlson has created the most racist show in the history of cable news, and this is an NPR. This is a National Public Radio article, apparently from the Nebraska division. I missed that before, but not only is this from National Public Radio, this is apparently a local affiliate of some sort, local to Nebraska. So, and the article starts out: the New York Times did an exhaustive survey of the Fox News host's broadcasts. Reporter Nicholas Confessori says Carlson's show is based on the ideas that were once caged in a dark corner of American life. So first of all, they start out with this extreme and, in my opinion, inaccurate characterization that that Tucker Carlson's ideas were caged in a dark corner of American life. I would say that that's categorically false. Especially obviously they're gonna race bait, which is which is a typical tactic of these left wing media outlets, and this one that's funded by the American government. Okay, this is supposed to be an impartial outlet, and they're blatantly partisan and ideological, and they're funded by taxpayers. They're funded by people that aren't necessarily conservative, or not necessarily liberals or Democrats, and yet they're openly hostile to just regular people, especially if they don't fall into their into where they want them to fall, as concerning policy or politics or preferences, that sort of thing. So, caged in a dark corner of American life. I would say that the 20, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, people were far more racist in the United States, especially in rural eastern Nebraska. I don't think it's unfair to say that most people were at least a little racist, and a substantial portion of them were quite a bit racist. That doesn't mean they were all bad people. Okay, it's nobody's perfect, right? But I would say that today, I would still say that if you're being honest with yourself, if you're being intellectually honest, they were probably all a little bit racist. But I would say that your rank and file Nebraska voter, or even on a national scale, is less racist. And that the viewers of Tucker Carlson are less racist than news consumers were 40 years ago, even though there were no conservative outlets back then, and so they were forced to consume just left-wing drivel, the left-wing drivel coming from ABC, NBC, and CBS. So it starts out with this hostile characterization that well, that Tucker's views once were caged in a dark corner of American life. So this is like this is a show. So this is like a transcript of a radio show. This is fresh air on Dave Davies in Today for Terry Gross. If you follow cable TV at all, you probably know that Fox News host Tucker Carlson is one of the most influential commentators in conservative media and one of the most provocative. He's known for praising authoritarian leaders such as Vladimir Putin. So here again, there's this characterization, okay, that one may or may not agree with. And I personally wouldn't say that Tucker praises authoritarian leaders such as Vladimir Putin. Or, I mean, I think what I've heard Tucker say in relation to Vladimir Putin is he seems to suggest that he's less of an authoritarian than Vladimir Zelensky. Okay, because he hasn't canceled elections. And yeah, maybe the elections were rigged in Russia, and maybe they have been for quite a while. That's probably true. But Zelensky outright canceled elections. And another thing Putin hasn't done is he hasn't banned any Christian denominations in the same way that Zelensky has. And so I think that that's the position that Tucker represents. Now, a lot of times when I hear Tucker talk, he'll go off and he'll be like, "Well, I'm not saying Vladimir Putin isn't an authoritarian." And why would you have to say that? If that's not what you're saying, why would you even bring it up? Okay, let them draw that false analogy. Why would you even give them that in to say that Vladimir, to deny that Vladimir Putin, that you're saying that Vladimir Putin is an authoritarian leader? Why would you even do that? Okay, that's like when you start with a compromise position, you end up like opening the door for people to suggest that. So, and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, I don't know what the left's problem is with Viktor Orban. I really don't. I don't know and I really don't understand the right's infatuation with him either. I think he's probably just your typical run of the mill New World Order puppet, like all these guys are, including Obama, including Trump, all these guys. Trudeau, who's that Frenchie? Whoever, like that woman that's running Great Britain now. The guy in China, the guy in Japan, all those people. Okay, they're just these new order puppets that are like they're like putting on this puppet show to keep you distracted from what they're going to do next. So, in warning his viewers about the danger of foreign immigrants and elites who want to control their lives. Okay, so once again, this is a mischaracterization. Okay, it isn't foreign immigrants. I mean, that's the only kind of immigrant there is a foreign immigrant. But it's illegal immigrants that people have the problem with. Okay, it isn't foreign immigrants. That's absurd. Because all of us are immigrants. Even the Native Americans. Even the Native Americans, if you like accept their preposterous land bridge theory. Because according to mainstream anthropology, the Native Americans migrated across the Bering Land Bridge, during the last ice age or some sort of nonsense like that. So, but if that's your paradigm, if that's the paradigm you go by, then we're all immigrants. We're all immigrants, and so that makes black people immigrants. That makes white people immigrants. That makes the people that are immigrating from Mexico today immigrants. I mean, so the whole idea that his viewers are like that Carlson is demonizing foreign immigrants, and his viewers are like some sort of, or being exploited by that. It's just more of their rhetoric on the extreme left wing. Okay, our guest and elites who want to control their lives. So they got like, yeah, I mean, so in this one big run-on sentence, they like they like try to like conflate all these like huge broad topics and like kind of cast it as some sort of evil plan by Tucker Carlson to stoke racial animosity against brownies, right? Against non-whites. So, Tucker Carlson, our guest New York Times conservator our guest New York Times reporter Nicholas Confessori recently wrote a series of articles about Carlson, drawing on an analysis of more than 1,100 episodes of his show, Tucker Carlson Tonight, conducted by Confessori and a team of Times reporters, as well as interviews with dozens of current and former Fox executives, producers, and journalists. Okay. Confessori includes that Tucker has constructed what may be the most racist show in the history of cable news. Okay, so it's like that's enough of that. Okay, now I don't necessarily, but yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this consistent and continued trash talk from the Marxist extremists that control NPR. I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna validate it in any sort of way. What these people are doing is they're taking the idea that our wide open border, that it's they're trying to push this idea that it's an unreasonable position to leave our border wide open. Okay, that this lunatic policy of leaving our border wide open and just letting anybody across is like anybody that like disagrees with that, anybody that doesn't want to continue this lunatic policy of leaving our borders wide open is a racist. Okay, and this is typical. The left has been at this now for decades, but over the past 10 years especially, they've really just like completely run off the rails. If you don't believe in any of their nonsense, you're a racist. Okay, but I would suggest to you that leaving our border wide open for criminals to traffic drugs and people across is I would suggest that doing that negatively affects communities of color disproportionately. So we're going to go ahead and read this article. Man sentenced for hauling 9,000 fentanyl pills, 44 pounds of meth across Nebraska. That's an incredible amount. I mean, that's totally incredible. That's like probably, that's a couple $100,000 street value. I would think maybe more than that. I don't know exactly what an expert would put the value at, and it kind of depends on how many what you characterize the value is. That the wholesale value or the retail value, but somebody had a bad day money wise. So, and this is from KLKN, Lincoln, Nebraska. A man from Mexico was sentenced on Wednesday after getting caught with a huge haul of drugs in Nebraska. Fausto Antonio Castro Mendoza will spend 17 and a half years in federal prison for possession of methamphetamine and fentanyl with intent to distribute. U.S. District Judge Brian Boucher also ordered Castro Mendoza to be deported after his prison sentence. I wonder if that'll happen. That would be assuming that there's Jesus isn't going to be back before then, but it's really going to be curious to see whether they actually send this drug dealer back to Mexico. In March 2023, Castro Mendoza was driving east on Interstate 80 when he was pulled over by a Seward County Sheriff's deputy. The deputy found 44 pounds of meth and 9,000 fentanyl pills inside the SUV, authorities said. That's crazy bad writing right there. Why wouldn't you cite like court documents or something, or the actual authority? Which authority said that? But anyway, Castro Mendoza in his passage, Jesus Villanueva were being paid to transport the drugs from Denver to Omaha. Both pled guilty. It's pled, not pleaded. Villanueva was sentenced earlier this month to 19 and a half years in prison. So the guy, the passenger, was sentenced to more than the driver. Anyway, who cares? I don't care. Like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. Criminal activity like this is exacerbated by leaving our border wide open. Okay? And it disproportionately affects the people of color negatively. Or it negatively affects people of color disproportionately. It's the less dyslexic way to put it. So, I mean, it's like, and all these virtue signaling left-wing lunatics. I mean, they pin anybody that disagrees with them, anybody that thinks that this is madness, and that we need to like protect ourselves from this type of criminal behavior. They're racists, right? But at the end of the day, it hurts people of color worse than it hurts white people. Like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. Tell me what you think in the comment. We're gonna do 1B next. Part 1B next. I'm out of here.